Her aunt said it with a sneer, like I was gum stuck to the heel of her Louboutin. You're not good enough for our bloodline. She didn't whisper it. She didn't say it behind my back. She waited until everyone at the anniversary dinner went quiet. Champagne paused mid-sip, forks clinking softly on porcelain. Her voice sliced through the air like glass. And my wife, Lena, just sipped her wine and looked away. Not a word. Not even a glance in my direction. That was the moment. The line drawn. Not when they first called me new money. Not when her brother tried to corner me about investing in his doomed crypto venture. Not even when her mother asked me if I could dress less provincial at family gatherings. It was this. That sentence. That silence. So I reached into my jacket, pulled out my phone, unlocked it with a quiet tap, and slid it face up across the table. Play it, I said calmly. Lena's eyes finally moved. Her aunt, Sylvia, looked at the screen like it might explode. But she tapped it. Curious. Condescending. And then she watched. They all did. No warning. No buffer. Just raw footage. A video from my phone's hidden folder. From a room in this very house. From 3 nights ago. It was Lena, in that same velvet dress, curled up on the leather sectional in the study. She was laughing, drunk, but sharp, sitting close to her cousin Drew. Too close. Her legs were across his lap. You think he suspects? Drew asked. Lena leaned in. Please. He thinks loyalty is a default setting. There was laughter. Kissing. Then her voice again, low but cruel. He's a wallet with a heartbeat. Useful. For now. Back at the table, chairs scraped against marble as her father stood, shaking. Her mother gasped. Drew, 2 seats down, went pale. Lena didn't move. I stood slowly, buttoned my jacket, and looked across the table at each of them. You want to talk about bloodlines? I said. Let's. But I didn't yell. I didn't rant. I walked around the table and dropped a folder next to Sylvia's untouched tiramisu. Paper clips. Tabs. Legal documents. Her hands trembled as she opened it. Pages flipped. Her face drained. Loan defaults, I said. Your boutique's been surviving on cash injections from a silent partner. Me. Sylvia's mouth opened, then closed. I turned to Lena. You said I was just useful, that I wouldn't see it coming. But I saw everything. Her voice finally cracked. You went through my phone? No, I said. I went through the shell company you helped set up. The one that's been funneling your family's debt into my control. I own your cousin's gym, your brother's condo lease, half your mother's retirement fund. And Sylvia's shop? It folds next quarter. I just hadn't pulled the plug yet. The silence was no longer awkward. It was suffocating. Why? Lena whispered. I looked at her, long and cold. Because betrayal deserves an audience. Sylvia shoved the folder away like it burned. You set us up. No, I replied. You set yourselves up. I just recorded it. Lena stood, glassy-eyed. We can fix this. There's nothing to fix, I said, stepping back. I just wanted you all to hear the truth, together. No more whispers. No more pretending. I walked to the door, but paused at the threshold. Turned back. You're right, Sylvia. I'm not good enough for your bloodline. I don't need to be. I already own it. And with that, I walked out. No more dinners. No more masks. No more playing the fool while snakes whispered over champagne. They thought they were choosing silence. They didn't realize silence watches. Learns. Waits. This was just the beginning. They called me the next morning. Not Lena. Her brother. 3 missed calls before noon. Then a voicemail. We need to talk, man. It's serious. I didn't respond. Instead, I drove downtown, walked into my lawyer's office, and handed over the final stack of papers. Transfers, notices, terminations. Everything I needed to cut the last strings. Lena had no idea I'd been preparing this for months. Not because I suspected cheating, though I did, but because she treated loyalty like a currency she could exchange at will. And her family? Parasites. Dressed in silk, sipping legacy, whispering in circles. Always watching me like I didn't belong. Like I was temporary. They weren't wrong. Lena didn't reach out until that evening. Just a text. Can we talk, please? I left it on read. At 8:17 p.m., the doorbell rang. I knew it was her. I didn't open. A few minutes later, another ring. Then a knock. I watched through the peephole. Her eyes were red. No makeup. Just Lena, the version I hadn't seen in years. I let her wait. By the 3rd knock, she spoke. Please. Just 5 minutes. I opened the door, stepped aside, and said nothing. She walked in like she still lived there. I let her. She stood in the center of the room like a stranger, trying to remember where things used to be. I didn't mean for it to go that far, she started. Which part? I asked. The betrayal or the entitlement? She flinched, but didn't look away. They leaned on me. I didn't know how to say no. You knew how to say it to me. She lowered her head. What do you want? Want? I laughed once cold. Lena, I never wanted anything but honesty. You gave me everything but. I made mistakes, she whispered. No, I said. You made investments. All of you. In my trust, my name, my money. You just didn't calculate the return. She stepped forward. I didn't cheat. I know, I said. But you didn't stop what was worse. You sold me out in pieces. Bit by bit. Until there was nothing left to sell. Tears came then, but I didn't move. I was scared, she said. So was I replied. Of waking up one day and realizing the people closest to me would rather bleed me than bleed for me. Silence again. Then she asked the real question. What now? I opened the briefcase on the table and pulled out a smaller folder. Thinner. Cleaner. This is the settlement. No court. No headlines. You walk away with what you came in with. She opened it. Skimmed. Her breath caught. You're just letting go? I met her eyes. You let go first. I'm just catching up. She nodded slowly. No protest. No performance. Somewhere deep down, she knew this was always going to end this way. Before she left, she turned one last time. They'll hate you for this. I'm counting on it, I said. And then she was gone. I spent the next week closing doors, shuttering accounts, finalizing asset seizures. Her cousin's gym shut down after back taxes surfaced. Her brother's lease defaulted, his eviction paperwork processed by a holding company I controlled. Sylvia's boutique? Liquidated. Employees were paid severance. Sylvia wasn't. It wasn't revenge. It was cleanup. Lena didn't fight it. She signed the papers, moved into a one-bedroom on the east side, and took a marketing job. No friends. No family. Not anymore. Word had spread fast. Her last name still opened doors, but it didn't close any deals. And me? I stayed quiet. I didn't gloat. I didn't speak to the press when the local blog picked up the mysterious collapse of the family behind Beaumont Holdings. I just watched from a distance. 3 weeks later, I got an envelope. No return address. Inside was a photo, me and Lena, from our wedding. On the back, one sentence in her handwriting. You always were better than us. No name. No apology. Just the truth, finally acknowledged too late. I stared at it for a long time, then slid it into the drawer, right next to the flash drive, the one with the rest of the footage they still hadn't seen. The flash drive burned a hole in my desk drawer for a month. I didn't need it. Not to finish the divorce. Not to take back control. But some weapons are better left in the dark, until they aren't. I didn't pull it out until the day I got an invitation. Thick cardstock. Gold trim. A crest I recognized instantly. The Beaumont Legacy Foundation Annual Gala. Lena's family was trying to rebrand. Of course they were. After everything collapsed, they pivoted to philanthropy, hoping a few scholarships and photo ops would rinse the stench off their name. I flipped the invitation over. Handwritten. Still a respected part of the community. You should come show face. Drew. The same cousin she curled up with on the couch, calling me a wallet with a heartbeat. The same one who got quietly rehired by Lena's uncle after I dumped the gym lease. Apparently, disgrace has an expiration date in their circle. All it takes is the right lie and a tuxedo. So I RSVP'd yes. The gala was held at the Sinclair Hotel downtown. Modern glass wrapped around old stone. A statement building, all angles and legacy. I walked in alone. No +1. Just a tailored suit, a steady hand, and a USB drive in my jacket pocket. I spotted Lena almost immediately. Hair longer. Thinner. Smiling like a hostage under stage lights. She saw me but didn't look surprised. Just tired. Like she'd expected this moment eventually. She didn't approach me. But Drew did. Didn't think you'd show, he said, flashing that same smug grin. I never miss a performance, I replied. He laughed. Too loud. Too forced. Glad you're not holding a grudge. Family drama, huh? Sure, I said, sipping the champagne. Speaking of drama, are the media here tonight? He looked confused. Yeah, local press. A couple online outlets. Good, I said. I left him standing there, mouth half open, and made my way to the AV table near the stage. The tech guy didn't even question it when I said I was there to upload a tribute reel for the late patriarch. I handed him the flash drive. Files labeled Legacy. He nodded and plugged it in. 5 minutes later, the lights dimmed. The crowd quieted, and the screen lit up. It started slow, photos of the Beaumonts through the years. Music. Applause. Then the tone shifted. The screen glitched, then cut to black. Then came the audio. Lena's voice. Clear. Cruel. The couch footage. You think he suspects? Please. He thinks loyalty is a default setting. The kissing. The laughter. Then Drew's voice, unmistakable. He's just funding the family rehab tour. Faces turned. People murmured. A few gasped. But it didn't stop there. The next clip? A boardroom. Her uncle. Her brother. Talking numbers. Cooking them. Tax evasion schemes laid out in plain speech. I told him it was a startup grant. He just nodded. Cut. Sylvia, on a phone call, laughing. If he asks, just say it was a donation. He's too proud to question it. The room exploded. Shouts. Chairs moving. Lena stood frozen, pale. Drew charged the AV table, screaming to cut it, but it was too late. The damage was done. I watched from the back, silent. I'd recorded everything. Not to humiliate them, but to end the game. No more whispers. No more facade. Just truth. Bright and public. Lena found me in the parking lot afterward. Alone. You said you weren't going to show that. I didn't say anything. Tears welled in her eyes. You ruined them. No, I said. They ruined themselves. I just hit play. She stepped closer, voice shaking. Do you hate me that much? Hate. I shook my head. Hate takes effort. This was just maintenance. Cleaning out what doesn't belong. She wiped her face, nodded once, and walked away. Not defiant. Not angry. Just finished. That night, the story broke on every local outlet. Investigations opened. Board seats vacated. The Beaumont name didn't just fall, it vanished. No amount of foundation dinners could patch it. And me? I didn't celebrate. I didn't post. I didn't brag. I bought a cabin in the hills, went offline, and left the city behind. Sometimes revenge isn't about punishment. It's about extraction. Pulling yourself out of the wreckage without dragging the rot with you. They thought I wasn't good enough for their bloodline. They were right. I was better.